The moment you decide to stop justifying yourself, the moment you refuse to complain, is the moment you reclaim your power. Every excuse you make, every complaint you utter, is an admission of weakness, a declaration that something outside of you controls your reality. But the truth is, nothing holds power over you unless you allow it. The strongest minds move in silence, undisturbed by the noise of the world. They do not seek approval, nor do they waste energy justifying their choices. Today, you will learn the art of absolute self-assurance, the ability to walk through life without explaining yourself, without complaining, and without seeking validation. When you master this, you become untouchable. Your reality is yours alone. No one else walks your path. No one else sees through your eyes. And no one else carries the dreams that burn within you. The moment you realize this, you will stop explaining yourself to people who do not and cannot understand your vision. The world is full of opinions, judgments, and expectations. But none of these have any power over you unless you give them permission to shape your beliefs. Most people spend their lives seeking validation, wanting to be understood, hoping that others will agree with their choices. But this is a losing battle. The more you explain yourself, the more you invite doubt. You give others the opportunity to question your path, to plant seeds of uncertainty in your mind. And if you're not careful, those seeds will take root, growing into hesitation, fear, and ultimately failure. Why? Because the moment you seek external approval, you surrender the authority you have over your own life. You tell yourself, my dreams must be approved by others before they can be real. But that is not how reality works. Your dreams are real the moment you decide they are. Look at those who have achieved great things. They do not waste time explaining themselves. They do not ask for permission. They simply acted, knowing deep within that their vision was enough. They moved forward, despite being misunderstood, despite being doubted, despite the voices around them telling them what was realistic and what was not, because they understood a fundamental truth. Reality bends to the mind that is unshaken. If you are constantly justifying your choices, it means you are not yet fully convinced of them yourself. Think about it. When you are absolutely certain about something, do you feel the need to explain it to anyone? When you know the sun will rise tomorrow, do you argue about it? No, because the truth does not require defense. The same applies to your path. The more you stand firm in your knowing, the less you will feel the need to explain yourself. The less you explain yourself, the more powerful you become. People will always have opinions, but their opinions are only reflections of their own limitations. When you share your vision with someone who does not believe in themselves, they will try to project their doubt onto you. They will tell you it is impossible, not because it truly is, but because they believe it is for them. Their words are not about you at all. So why should you allow their fears to dictate your reality? Why should you let their insecurities weigh down your dreams? Understand this. The people who question you, who doubt you, who try to make you explain yourself, are often the same people who have never dared to step outside their own comfort zones. They want you to stay where they are because it makes them feel safe. If you rise too high, if you break free from the limits they have accepted, they will have to face the uncomfortable truth that they too could have done more. But they chose not to. When your country lies. So, stop explaining yourself. Stop asking for permission. Stop seeking validation from those who are not walking your path. Your journey is yours alone, and the only approval you ever need is your own. When you act from a place of deep inner knowing, the world will have no choice but to adjust. The moment you claim your vision as truth, the universe begins to move in your favor. Doors open. Instead of wasting energy explaining yourself, use that energy to build, to create, to manifest. Let your results be your voice. Let your success speak for itself. Those who once doubted you will either be silent in awe or come back asking how you did it. Either way you win, because when you live in alignment with your own truth, without needing to justify it to anyone, you become unstoppable. Complaining is an act of powerlessness. It is a declaration to the world that you are not in control, that something outside of you holds dominion over your life. Every time you complain, you reinforce the idea that you are a victim, that circumstances are against you, that you are at the mercy of forces beyond your command. But this is the greatest illusion, the most dangerous trap, because the more you speak of what is wrong, the more you invite it into your life. Complaints are not harmless words. They are manifestations in progress. What you focus on expands. If you focus on problems, you will see more of them. If you speak of struggles, you will find yourself drowning in them. Every complaint is a seed, and what you plant will grow. Most people do not realize that their very words are the cause of their suffering. They think they are simply expressing frustration, venting their feelings, or sharing their reality. But in truth, they are reinforcing it, deepening it, giving it life and energy. The subconscious mind does not distinguish between what is wanted and what is unwanted. It simply brings into being what is most consistently affirmed. If you complain about being broke, you are affirming your lack. If you complain about difficult people, you are inviting more of them into your experience. If you complain about being tired, you will feel even more drained. The words you speak are shaping your world at every moment. When you understand this, you will stop complaining entirely, because you will see it for what it truly is: self-sabotage. Probably complaints also reveal where your power has been given away. Every time you say, "This is unfair, this shouldn't be happening," or "Why me?" you are admitting that you believe you are not in control. You are reinforcing the illusion that life is happening to you rather than through you. But nothing is random. Nothing is accidental. Everything in your if something persists, it is because, on some level, you are sustaining it. Whether through your thoughts, your emotions, or your repeated words. Look around at those who complain constantly. What do you see? You see people stuck in the same patterns, the same problems, the same cycles. They think the world is against them, that they are unlucky, that life is unfair. But in reality, it is their own energy that is keeping them bound. They are weaving their own chains, one complaint at a time, and they do not even realize it. But you must rise above this habit completely, because if you do not, you will never be free. Instead of complaining, take control. If something is not as you desire, change it. If you cannot change it immediately, change your perception of it. See every difficulty as a lesson, every obstacle as an opportunity. Speak only of what you want to see grow. Speak only of solutions, of progress, of certainty. When others complain around you, do not join them. Let them wallow in their own illusions if they must, but do not allow their words to enter your reality. Guard your mind like a fortress. Do not let it be polluted by negativity, whether from within or from others. Powerful people do not complain. They do not waste time on what is wrong. They focus only on what they will create. They know that their words are commands to the universe, and so they speak only of what they wish to bring forth. If you want to be powerful, you must do the same. The moment you stop complaining is the moment you reclaim authority over your life. It is the moment you declare with absolute certainty that nothing outside of you has control. And when you hold to this, when you refuse to let complaints shape your world, you will find that everything begins to shift in your favor. Silence is a sign of strength. Those who possess true power do not feel the need to announce it. They do not broadcast their every thought, nor do they seek validation for their actions. Instead, they move with quiet confidence, allowing their results to speak for them. The world is filled with noise, people explaining themselves, justifying their decisions, complaining about circumstances, and desperately seeking approval. But in the midst of this noise, the most powerful individuals are the ones who remain composed, unshaken, and deliberate in their actions. When you do not feel the need to explain yourself, it means you have reached a level of certainty that requires no external confirmation. You no longer look for others to understand you because you understand yourself, and that is enough. The moment you stop seeking validation, you become free. Free from opinions, free from expectations, free from the need to prove anything to anyone. That is a power few possess, and even fewer can comprehend. The reason silence is powerful is because it removes all doubt. Words can be twisted, argued against, or misunderstood, but silence is impenetrable. When you stay quiet in moments where others expect a reaction, you communicate something much stronger than words ever could. You communicate control. You show that you are not easily swayed, not easily provoked, and not. When you refuse to explain yourself, you force others to sit with their own thoughts, to question their own beliefs, and to wonder why you are so unwavering. That kind of presence is intimidating to those who lack true conviction. Weak people fill silence with words because they are uncomfortable with uncertainty. They explain, they justify, they try to convince others of their worth because deep down they are trying to convince themselves. But the strongest minds do not need to convince anyone. They simply know. And that knowing is reflected in their actions, not their words. When you embrace silence, you become unpredictable. People do not know what you are thinking, and that gives you an advantage. The less they know about your thoughts, your plans, and your emotions, the less they can interfere with them. In a world where everyone is quick to speak, the one who listens is the one who truly understands. The one who moves in silence is the one who holds the most. Consider those who are truly influential. They do not waste words on things that do not serve them. They do not explain themselves to doubters. They do not defend their dreams to those who cannot see their vision. They let their work speak for itself, and by the time others realize their power, it is already too late to stop them. This is the essence of quiet strength, moving forward without the need for approval, without the need for recognition, without the need to be understood. Most people misunderstand silence. They see it as a weakness, as an absence of action, when in reality, it is a calculated decision. There is strength in withholding your energy, in choosing when to speak and when to remain quiet. When you stop reacting to every challenge, when you stop explaining every choice, you conserve your power. You redirect it toward building, toward achieving, toward mastering yourself. You use your ideas better than using them to lecture. When you talk to be commanded, you communicate. Every time you explain yourself unnecessarily, you dilute your presence. Every time you react emotionally, you hand over control. But when you hold your silence, when you stay composed, even when provoked, you become untouchable. You dictate the terms of every interaction, because your silence forces others to reveal themselves while you remain unreadable. This is the power of those who truly understand their worth. To master silence is to master yourself. It is to understand that your energy is sacred and that not everyone deserves access to it. It is to recognize that the more you explain, the weaker your position becomes. Strength does not come from convincing others. It comes from knowing deep within that you need no validation. When you embody this, you become unstoppable. Button ball, mastering emotional detachment is the key to true freedom. The moment you stop reacting to everything around you, you take back control of your life. Most people go through life completely controlled by their emotions, allowing circumstances, opinions, and external events to dictate how they feel. They react impulsively, they let others provoke them, and they become trapped in cycles of frustration, disappointment, and anger. But those who understand true power know that emotions should serve them, not control them. They know that reacting emotionally is a sign of weakness, a sign that they have given away their authority over their own mind. When you are emotionally attached to something, it means it has power over you. It means your happiness, your peace, or your sense of self is dependent on something outside of you. But the moment you detach, you break that chain. You free yourself from needing things to go a certain way. You stop depending on the behavior of others, the approval of society, or the outcomes of you become centered, unshaken, and unstoppable. People will try to trigger you, not because they have power over you, but because they want to see if they do. The moment you react, you confirm to them that they have the ability to affect your emotions. You show them that they can pull you out of your state of peace, that they can dictate how you feel. But when you refuse to react, when you remain calm in situations where others would lose control, you send a much stronger message. You show that you are above the chaos, that nothing outside of you can touch you in a world. That kind of control makes you untouchable. Detachment does not mean indifference. It does not mean you do not care about anything. It means you are in control of what you care about. It means you choose where your energy goes. You decide what deserves your attention, what is worth your focus, and what is simply background noise. When you master detachment, you move with purpose. You do not get caught up in petty arguments, emotional reactions, or unnecessary battles. You recognize what truly matters, and you let go of everything that does not serve you. Most people live in reaction mode. They wake up and immediately check their phones, allowing the outside world to dictate their mood. They let a negative comment ruin their day. They let a minor inconvenience throw them off balance. They live as if they have no control, as if they are victims of circumstance. But this is not how a powerful mind operates. A powerful mind decides in advance how it will feel, does not allow external events to dictate its internal state. It remains steady no matter what is happening around it. Imagine walking through a storm without being touched by the rain. That is the power of detachment. You see everything happening around you, but none of it affects your inner peace. You hear the noise, but it does not disturb you. You witness the chaos, but you remain centered. This is the mindset of those who shape their own reality, those who refuse to be at the mercy of the external world. Listen, detachment is not about suppressing emotions. It is about mastering them. It is about feeling everything fully, but choosing not to let those feelings dictate your actions. It is about observing your thoughts and emotions without being controlled by them. When you master this, you gain a level of clarity and focus that few ever achieve. You stop wasting energy on things that do not matter, and you channel all your power into what does. Nothing in this world can truly disturb you unless you allow it to. No person, no situation, no event has the ability to take away your peace unless you give it permission. And when you realize this, you take back your power completely. You become the master of your emotions, the ruler of your own mind, and the creator of your own destiny. Your mind shapes reality, not others' opinions. The world you experience is not a result of what others think about you, but a direct reflection of what you believe about yourself. Most people go through life allowing the judgments and expectations of others to dictate their actions, their choices, and even their sense of self-worth. They live in a mental prison, constantly seeking approval, fearing rejection, and adjusting their dreams to fit into the narrow mold of what society deems acceptable. But the truth is, the opinions of others have no power unless you give them power. The only thing that shapes your reality is the way you think, the way you see yourself, and the beliefs you hold about what is possible for you. This is built onto that on more tokens with credit, but about 212. The moment you stop worrying about how others perceive you is the moment you unlock your true potential. The people who doubt you are only projecting their own limitations. They are not speaking from truth, they are speaking from fear. When someone tells you that your dreams are impossible, they are revealing more about their own beliefs than about reality itself. They are trapped in their own mental barriers, unable to see beyond their own conditioning. But just because they cannot see it does not mean it is not real. Reality is shaped by those who dare to believe in what others cannot yet comprehend. If you allow yourself to be controlled by the opinions of others, you will always live in limitation. You will second-guess yourself, hesitate when you should take action, and shrink yourself to fit into a world that was never meant to contain you. But when you realize that your thoughts are the only force shaping your world, you step into a new level of power. You stop seeking approval. You move with confidence, knowing that your vision is enough. Most people let outside noise dictate their inner state. They hear criticism and let it create doubt. They face rejection and take it as a sign to give up. They listen to the fears of others and allow those fears to become their own. But this is an illusion. The only thing that truly determines your success is whether you believe in yourself when no one else does, whether you hold onto your vision even when others cannot see it, whether you stay committed to your path, regardless of how many people try to tell you otherwise. When you train your mind to be unaffected by opinions, you become unstoppable. You no longer need validation. You no longer fear judgment. You move forward with absolute certainty because you understand that reality is not created by consensus, it is created by conviction. The strongest people in history were those who ignored the doubts of others and trusted in their own inner knowing. They did not need approval because they already knew they would succeed. They did not waste time explaining their dreams to those who could not comprehend them. They simply acted, and the world adjusted to their belief. The way you see yourself is the foundation of everything. If you believe you are capable, the world will reflect that back to you. If you believe you are worthy, you will attract opportunities that align with that belief. But if you see yourself through the eyes of others, through their doubts, their fears, their limitations, you will always feel small, restricted, and uncertain. You must decide, once and for all, that you are the only authority over your own life, that your belief is the only thing that matters, that your vision is real because you have declared it so. Stop giving your power away to opinions. Stop letting the doubts of others create doubt within you. Stop allowing small minds to define the boundaries of your existence. Your mind is the most powerful force in your life. And when you take control of it, there is nothing you cannot create. Reality bends to those who have the courage to believe in themselves fully, unapologetically, and without hesitation. The world does not shape you, you shape the world. Control your focus, and you control your destiny. Every thought you think, every image you hold in your mind, every belief you repeat to yourself is shaping your future. Most people fail not because they lack talent, intelligence, or opportunity, but because they fail to control their focus. They allow their minds to wander into fear, doubt, and negativity. They focus on what they lack, on what is going wrong, on obstacles instead of opportunities. And because what you focus on expands, their reality continues to reflect their inner state. But those who understand the power of focus know that they can direct their energy toward anything they desire, and in doing so, they bend reality to match their vision. Your mind is like a magnifying glass. Whatever you hold it over will appear larger. If you constantly think about your problems, they will dominate your life. If you dwell on your limitations, they will become even more real to you. But if you focus on solutions, on possibilities, on the vision of the life you want to create, those things will begin to grow. Focus is not just about thinking positively. It is about training your mind to see only what serves you. It is about eliminating distractions, silencing doubts, and committing fully to the thoughts that align with your desired reality. Most people scatter their focus. They jump from one goal to another, from one idea to another, from one emotion to another. They allow circumstances to dictate their attention, reacting to everything that happens around them instead of deliberately choosing where to place their energy. But those who master their focus do not allow external events to control them. They decide in advance what they will think about, what they will give their energy to, and what they will ignore. They do not waste time complaining, arguing, or worrying about things beyond their control. They focus only on what moves them forward, on what builds them up, on what brings them closer to their vision. The secret to controlling your focus is discipline. It is the ability to guard your mind from distractions, to reject thoughts that do not serve you, and to direct your attention toward the reality you wish to create. This is not easy. The world is filled with noise, news, social media, negative people, endless distractions designed to pull you away from your power. If you are not careful, your mind will be hijacked by the chaos around you. But if you train yourself to be disciplined in your focus, you become immune to the noise. You move through life with a clear vision, unaffected by external forces. You refuse to give energy to anything that does not align with your highest self. Focus is not just about thoughts. It is about action. What you give your attention to determines the steps you take, the decisions you make, the way you show up in the world. If you constantly focus on failure, you will hesitate, you will procrastinate, you will hold yourself back. But if you focus on success, you will take bold action. The strongest minds are those that are completely absorbed in their vision. They do not entertain distractions. They do not allow fear to take hold. They focus so intensely on their desired outcome that reality has no choice but to conform to their belief. Your focus is your greatest weapon. It determines what you manifest, how fast you achieve your goals, and how powerful you become. If you control your focus, you control your emotions. If you control your emotions, you control your actions. If you control your actions, you control your results. And when you control your results, you control your destiny. Nothing outside of you has power over your life unless you allow it. The only thing that matters is where you direct your attention, because where your focus goes, your energy flows. When you understand this, when you take full command of your mind, you will realize that success is not something you chase. It is something you create with absolute certainty. Becoming unshakable in your convictions is the foundation of true power. Most people allow their beliefs to be influenced by the opinions, fears, and doubts of those around them. They may start with confidence, but the moment they face resistance, criticism, or obstacles, they begin to waver. They seek reassurance. They look for signs. They wait for external validation before fully committing to their vision. But those who truly succeed, those who manifest their desires with certainty, are the ones who refuse to be shaken. They do not need proof. They do not need permission. They decide what is true for them, and they hold that belief with unwavering certainty, no matter what the world throws at them. Conviction is the energy that bends reality. The moment you declare something as absolute, it begins to take shape. But most people do not understand this. They allow doubts to creep in, they listen to the skepticism of others, and they let fear dictate their path. They say they want success, but deep down, they question whether it is possible. They say and in doing so, they weaken their power, because the truth is, reality does not respond to hesitation. It does not respond to uncertainty. It responds to those who know, without a shadow of a doubt, that what they desire is already theirs. When you are unshakable in your convictions, you do not explain yourself. You do not argue with those who doubt you. You do not waste time trying to convince others of what you know to be true. You simply embody it. You move as if your vision is already real, as if your success is inevitable, as if there is no other possible outcome. This is not delusion, it is creation. Because when you hold a belief with absolute certainty, the world has no choice but to align with it. Weakness is found in hesitation. The moment you hesitate, you open the door for doubt. You give space for fear to creep in, for outside voices to influence you, for circumstances to shake your resolve. But when you refuse to waver, when you stand firm in your knowing, you become unstoppable. You do not look for signs, you create them. You do not wait for opportunities, you command them. You do not hope for opportunities, you claim it is already done. This is the mindset of those who achieve greatness. They do not seek validation because they do not need it. They have already decided there will always be people who doubt you. There will always be circumstances that test your resolve. There will always be moments where the evidence in front of you contradicts what you are trying to manifest. But none of that matters, because reality is shaped by persistence. Those who get what they want are not the ones who wait for everything to be perfect before believing. They are the ones who believe, despite everything, who hold their vision so strongly that the world has no choice but to conform to it. The strongest people in history, the visionaries, the leaders, the creators of new realities, all had one thing in common. They refused to be shaken. They did not let failures discourage them. They did not let setbacks define them. And they did not let others' disbelief weaken their own. They held on to their vision with relentless determination, knowing that their certainty alone was enough to make it real. And because they never wavered, because they never doubted, he succeeded. You must become the same. You must train your mind to reject doubt, to dismiss fear, to stand firm in your beliefs no matter what is happening around you. You must act as if your success is inevitable, as if nothing can stop you, as if you already have everything you desire. And when you do this, when you become completely unshakable, reality will shift in your favor. The world does not resist those who refuse to be denied. It bends to those who believe with absolute certainty. Never complain, never explain. Walk through life with quiet confidence, knowing that your vision is enough. The moment you stop justifying yourself, the moment you refuse to waste energy on complaints, you take back control of your reality. Those who shape the world do not beg for understanding, nor do they allow external circumstances to dictate their emotions. They move with certainty, unaffected by doubt, unshaken by opinions, and undistracted by noise. The world belongs to those who refuse to waver, the ones who no longer seek validation, who no longer react to negativity, who no longer let others' limitations define them. The moment you embrace this mindset, you step into your highest power. You no longer explain your dreams, you live them. You no longer complain about circumstances, you change them. You no longer react to life, you command it. From this day forward, carry yourself as if you already have everything you desire. Speak with certainty, act with confidence, and let your silence be your strength. Do not lower yourself to seek approval, and do not waste time justifying your past. Walk as if success is inevitable, because when you truly believe it is, the universe will rearrange itself to make it so. There is a hidden formula, a sacred truth that shapes the world around you. It is not fate, luck, or chance that determines your reality. It is the silent operation of your own mind. The thoughts you dwell upon, the feelings you cultivate, and the beliefs you hold are the architects of your destiny. When you understand this, when you master the art of conscious creation, there is nothing you cannot manifest. This is the ultimate success formula, one that is being used by the greatest minds, the wealthiest individuals, and those who have transcended ordinary existence. Today, you will discover how to use it. Assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled, and you will see your world transform before your eyes. This is not mere positive thinking, nor is it blind hope. It is a fundamental law by which reality is shaped. To manifest anything, you must first become it in consciousness. You do not wait for evidence to believe. You believe first, and the evidence follows. Your external world is not separate from you. It is a direct reflection of your inner state. When you assume the feeling of already possessing your desire, you impress that reality upon your subconscious mind, and it must, by law, express itself in your physical world. Most people approach life backward. They look at their circumstances and react to them, believing that change must come first in the outer world before they can feel different internally. But the secret to true manifestation lies in reversing this process. If you want success, you must feel successful now. If you want love, you must feel loved now. If you want financial abundance, you must carry the state of wealth within you before it ever appears in your bank account. The external world does not shape you, you shape it. To assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled, you must enter the state mentally and emotionally. Close your eyes and bring your desire to life in your imagination. Do not just see it, feel it. If you wish to be wealthy, imagine the weight of money in your hands, the sensation of fine clothing on your body, the luxury of freedom that financial abundance brings. If you wish to be in a loving relationship, imagine the warmth of a partner beside you, the feeling of companionship, the happiness that fills your heart. Your subconscious mind does not distinguish between what is real and what is imagined. When you assume a state with feeling, your subconscious mind accepts it as truth, and the world around you rearranges itself to reflect that assumption. Doubt is the enemy of manifestation. The moment you question whether your desire is possible, you step out of the state of fulfillment and back into the state of lack. This is why so many fail. They plant a seed but continually dig it up to check if it is growing. Your assumption must be unwavering. You must occupy the state of fulfillment so completely that there is no room for doubt. If you were already the person you wish to be, would you question it? No. You would live naturally in that state without effort or hesitation. That is the level of certainty required. Your emotions serve as the bridge between the invisible and the visible. It is not enough to repeat affirmations without feeling. Empty words do not create. Deep, embodied emotions do. If you say, "I am successful," but internally feel doubt or anxiety, the dominant feeling will dictate the result. You must learn to cultivate the feeling of already having what you desire as though it is a present reality. Your world is shaped by what you feel to be true, not by what you wish to be true. Many resist this idea because they are conditioned to believe in external causes. They say, "I will feel happy when I have money," or "I will feel secure when I have the job." But they fail to see that by placing their feelings after the event, they are pushing their desire further away. The key is to bring the feeling into the now, to experience the joy, security, and confidence in the present moment, knowing that your assumption must harden into fact. The longer you persist in the feeling of fulfillment, the faster your reality must conform. Every great success story follows this pattern. The people who achieve extraordinary things do not wait for proof. They act as if their success is inevitable. They carry themselves with confidence, speak as if their vision is already accomplished, and move through life with an unshakable knowing that what they seek is already theirs. This is not arrogance, it is alignment. The universe does not respond to hesitation, it responds to conviction. If you wish to transform your life, begin now. Assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled, and do not let it go. Live in it, breathe it, and let it become your new reality. The world around you will soon have no choice but to reflect the state you have embodied. Your imagination is not a place where idle fantasies live. It is the very foundation of creation. Every single thing that exists in your world was once imagined. The home you live in, the clothes you wear, the technology you use. Before any of it became tangible, it existed in someone's mind as a vision. This is the creative power you hold within you, a power that is constantly at work, whether you recognize it or not. What you vividly imagine with deep emotion and unwavering belief begins to solidify into your reality. It is not an empty daydream, but the blueprint of your future. Most people allow their imagination to be dictated by their current circumstances. They look at their present conditions and assume that what they see is all there is. They replay the same thoughts, relive the same emotions, and reinforce the same limitations, never realizing that their imagination is shaping their tomorrow. But the secret is this: the world outside of you is not fixed, it is fluid, ever changing, and entirely malleable to the visions you consistently hold within your mind. When you understand that imagination is not fiction, but the birthplace of all reality, you begin to take it seriously. You begin to use it deliberately. The process of manifestation is simple, yet profound. Close your eyes and enter a state of relaxation where the outer world fades and only your inner world remains. See yourself living the life you desire, not as a distant hope, but as a present reality. Feel it in detail. If you desire success, imagine yourself in the position you seek, holding the rewards of your labor, hearing the voices of people congratulating you. If you desire love, immerse yourself in the experience of companionship, the warmth of a loving embrace, the sound of a partner's laughter. The more vivid the scene, the more real it becomes to your subconscious mind. Your imagination is the workshop where your future is built, and when you impress a vision upon your mind with enough intensity, it must manifest. Many people struggle with manifestation because they see their imagination as separate from reality. They think, this is just a thought, it has no power. But they fail to realize that everything begins as a thought. A thought, when held with conviction and emotion, becomes belief, and belief is the force that commands reality. Your subconscious mind does not know the difference between what is real and what is imagined. It only responds to the dominant images and emotions you present to it. This is why fear and worry are so powerful. When you imagine worst-case scenarios with emotional intensity, your subconscious accepts them as instructions and begins to bring them to life. You must become the master of your imagination rather than its slave. If you allow random fears, doubts, and old conditioning to control your mental imagery, you will continue to create a life by default. But when you take control, when you deliberately choose what you imagine and persist in that vision, your world must change. This is not wishful thinking. It is a law as certain as gravity. Your imagination is not merely for entertainment. It is the script of your destiny. The key is to persist in your vision, even when the outer world contradicts it. You may not see immediate results, but that does not mean nothing is happening. Seeds do not sprout the moment they are planted, but beneath the soil, the process has already begun. The same is true for your manifestations. The moment you impress a vision upon your subconscious, unseen forces are set into motion to bring it into form, but most people give up too soon. They let the lack of visible evidence shake their belief, and in doing so, they uproot the very seed they planted. You must dwell in the feeling of your imagined reality until it becomes more real to you than your current circumstances. When you persist in a vision, the outer world must eventually rearrange itself to match it. The means and methods are not your concern. Reality will shape itself in ways beyond your comprehension to bring your vision to life. Your only task is to remain unwavering in your assumption, to trust in the unseen, and to know that what you have imagined is already on its way. The moment you accept your vision as truth, the process is set in motion, and nothing can stop it. Persistence is the bridge between imagination and reality. It is the force that turns an idea into an undeniable fact. Most people fail in manifestation not because they lack vision, but because they lack the endurance to hold on to that vision when circumstances seem unchanged. The moment you plant a seed in your subconscious mind through assumption, it begins to take root. But like all seeds, it requires time to grow. If you abandon your belief too soon, you cut off the process before it has a chance to bear fruit. The difference between those who succeed and those who do not is simple. Those who succeed persist until their assumption hardens into fact. You must understand that the world you see around you is nothing more than a reflection of your past thoughts, emotions, and assumptions. If you constantly look at your external conditions for proof of change, you will be trapped in an endless cycle of reacting to what has already been created instead of shaping what is to come. Reality is fluid, ever shifting, and always responding to your dominant inner state. It does not resist change, it simply conforms to whatever you consistently assume to be true. When you persist in your assumption, no matter what appears in the present, reality must yield to your conviction. Most people waver between faith and doubt, and in doing so, they delay their manifestations. One moment, they feel certain that their desire is on its way. The next, they let fear and impatience creep in, undoing their progress. This is the danger of inconsistency. The subconscious mind is always listening, always responding, and when it receives mixed signals, it produces mixed results. The key is to hold steadfast to your assumption, to embody the feeling of your wish fulfilled so completely that doubt has no place to exist. There will be moments when circumstances appear unchanged, when logic tells you that nothing is happening, when everything around you suggests that your vision is impossible. This is the true test. It is easy to believe in your manifestation when signs are appearing, when things seem to be falling into place. But true mastery comes from persisting even in the absence of evidence, knowing that the process is unfolding behind the scenes. Just as a seed grows in darkness before breaking through the soil, your manifestation is forming in the unseen before it becomes visible. If you abandon your belief too soon, you halt the process before it reaches completion. You must learn to live in the end result, to carry yourself as if your desire is already yours, regardless of what the outer world suggests. If you desire success, you must think, speak, and act as someone who is already successful. If you desire love, you must embody the feeling of being loved and cherished, even if the physical proof has not yet appeared. This is not delusion. It is a process by which reality reshapes itself to match your internal state. When you persist in an assumption, it becomes so deeply ingrained in your subconscious mind that it must externalize itself. The world has no choice but to reflect the state you hold within. Doubt, fear, and impatience are the only barriers to manifestation. They act as interruptions in the creative process, pulling you back into the state of lack. When you persist in your assumption, you silence these interruptions and remain firmly rooted in the certainty that your desire is already yours. This is why persistence is so powerful. It overrides any resistance, any opposing thoughts, any temporary setbacks. The moment you make a decision that nothing will shake your belief, you set an unbreakable course toward your goal. Reality does not operate on a fixed timeline. Some manifestations appear quickly, while others take time to materialize, depending on the level of belief and emotional intensity behind them. But time is irrelevant to the subconscious mind. It only knows the present moment. And when you persist in a state of already having what you desire, that state must solidify into your experience. This is the formula for success. Assume, persist, and refuse to accept anything less than the fulfillment of your vision. Those who master this principle hold the power to shape their world at will. Faith is the invisible force that binds thought to reality. It is not wishful thinking, nor is it blind hope. It is a knowing so deep that no outer circumstance can shake it. The world you experience is not separate from you. It is the direct expression of what you believe to be true. When faith is unwavering, when it becomes an immovable foundation within you, it bends reality to match your inner conviction. Faith is not about hoping that something will happen in the future. It is about knowing that it already exists, even if your senses have not yet confirmed it. Most people misunderstand faith because they rely too much on the physical world for proof. They wait for signs, they look for evidence, and they let their emotions rise and fall based on what they see. But this is a fundamental mistake, because the world outside is always a reflection of past thoughts and beliefs. If you base your faith on external circumstances, you will always be controlled by what already exists. True faith does not waver based on appearances. It stands firm in the unseen, knowing that what is held in the mind must be expressed in reality. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. It is the bridge between imagination and manifestation. If you believe that something is possible, and you persist in that belief with absolute certainty, it must become your reality. The subconscious mind does not question. It only accepts what you impress upon it as true. When you assume something with deep conviction, your subconscious mind moves all things to bring it into form. This is why faith is the single most powerful force in creation. It commands reality itself. It owns itself, it says what it says what itself. Doubt is the only thing that can disrupt this process. The moment you entertain thoughts of uncertainty, you begin to pull yourself out of the state of already having what you desire. This is where most people struggle. They waver between belief and disbelief, allowing fear and impatience to take hold. One moment they feel certain that their desire is theirs. The next they allow circumstances to convince them otherwise. This inconsistency sends mixed signals to the subconscious, preventing the manifestation from unfolding smoothly. The key is to hold faith so firmly that no external event can shake it. To strengthen faith, you must shift your focus inward. You must trust the unseen more than the seen, knowing that what is visible today is simply the result of past assumptions. If you wish to change your reality, you must first change what you accept as true within yourself. Imagine the person who already has what you desire. How do they think? How do they feel? How do they move through the world? Assume that state fully and hold on to it with certainty. The moment you decide that something is yours without needing confirmation from the outer world, you activate the forces that will bring it to you. This is not about forcing outcomes or trying to control how things unfold. Faith does not struggle. It rests in the knowing that all things are working in perfect harmony. The impatient mind constantly questions, asking when and how the manifestation will arrive. But the faithful mind is at peace, because it understands that the moment a desire is assumed, it is already done. The physical world simply needs time to rearrange itself accordingly. Faith does not concern itself with details. It knows that all things are possible and that the path will reveal itself at the right time. Those who achieve great things do not rely on external evidence to support their vision. They carry an unshakable confidence, a certainty that what they seek is already theirs. They do not beg or plead for success. They walk as if it is inevitable. This is the power of faith. It transforms possibility into certainty. The moment you accept your desire as a fact within your mind, you set in motion the unseen forces that will make it a fact in your world. Reality has no choice but to conform to the conviction you hold within. Faith, when unshaken, is the key to unlocking everything you desire. Your assumptions are the foundation of your reality. They are not just fleeting thoughts or momentary beliefs. They are the deep-seated convictions that dictate what you experience in life. Whether you realize it or not, you are always assuming something about yourself, about the world, about what is possible for you. And these assumptions are shaping your reality with absolute precision. You do not manifest what you want. You manifest what you assume to be true. The world does not respond to your desires alone. It responds to the beliefs you hold beneath those desires. If you assume you are wealthy, you will see wealth. If you assume you are successful, success will find you. If you assume you are loved, love must appear. It is not a matter of luck or external circumstances. It is the simple, undeniable law of consciousness. Most people fail to manifest their desires because they assume the opposite of what they want. They desire success but assume struggle. They desire love but assume rejection. They desire abundance but assume lack. They are unaware that their dominant inner conversations, emotions, and reactions are reinforcing these negative assumptions. They look at their current circumstances and take them as absolute truth, not realizing that these conditions are only reflections of their past beliefs. Instead of changing their assumptions, they continue to accept what they see, which only perpetuates the same cycle. This is why some remain stuck in the same patterns for years, never realizing that the power to shift their reality lies within their own mind. To change your life, you must begin by changing your assumptions. You must no longer accept circumstances as unchangeable facts, but as malleable reflections of your consciousness. You must dare to assume the reality you desire, even when there is no physical evidence to support it. This is where most people falter. They wait for proof before they believe. But manifestation does not work this way. The proof comes only after the assumption has been made. You must believe first. You must step into the feeling of already being the person you wish to be. If you desire success, assume the mindset of one who is already successful. If you desire love, assume that you are already cherished. If you desire health, assume that you are already whole. These assumptions, when persisted in, will harden into facts. Your subconscious mind does not question what you assume. It only accepts and reflects it. If you assume difficulty, life will present you with obstacles. If you assume ease, opportunities will flow effortlessly. This is why self-concept is the key to manifestation. If you see yourself as small, unworthy, or incapable, the world will mirror those beliefs. But if you assume greatness, if you assume that you are worthy of all that you desire, life will reflect that assumption back to you in ways you cannot even imagine. The moment you shift your inner state, the outer world must shift to match it. Many try to change their external reality without first changing their assumptions, and they find themselves frustrated when nothing seems to work. They take action, they push, they force, but if their inner world remains the same, their results will always revert back to what they truly believe about themselves. The secret is not in action alone. It is in the foundation upon which all action rests. A man who assumes himself to be successful will take inspired action naturally. A woman who assumes herself to be loved will radiate confidence and attract love effortlessly. The assumption precedes the manifestation, not the other way around. To assume correctly, you must live in the feeling of your wish fulfilled. This means thinking, speaking, and acting as if your desire is already yours. It means refusing to entertain thoughts of doubt or lack. It means no longer identifying with the version of yourself who struggles, but fully embodying the version of yourself who thrives. At first, this may feel unnatural, as if you are pretending, but with persistence, the assumption takes root and soon it becomes second nature. And once it does, reality must conform to it. Your assumptions are the unseen architects of your world. The moment you decide to assume a new reality, that reality begins to take form. Your imagination is the most powerful tool you possess. It is not a mere daydreaming faculty or an escape from reality. It is the force that shapes reality itself. Everything you see around you was once imagined before it became real. The homes you live in, the technology you use, the roads you travel, and even the circumstances of your life, all of these were first conceived in the unseen realm of imagination before they took form in the physical world. The mistake most people make is believing that imagination is separate from reality, when in truth it is the source of all reality. What you consistently imagine with conviction and emotional intensity must manifest. For imagination is the blueprint of creation. Most people misuse their imagination. Instead of envisioning the life they desire, they fill their minds with worry, fear, and doubt. They unconsciously rehearse failure, rejection, and struggle, allowing these images to dominate their inner world. They imagine worst-case scenarios, relive past disappointments, and anticipate difficulties, not realizing that in doing so, they are shaping their future to match these negative expectations. The mind does not distinguish between what is real and what is imagined. It only accepts what is repeatedly impressed upon it. This is why those who constantly dwell on problems seem to attract more of them, while those who cultivate a vision of success find that success naturally unfolds. To master manifestation, you must become a deliberate creator with your imagination. You must train yourself to see, feel, and experience your desired reality in your mind so vividly that it becomes more real to you than your current circumstances. This is not about idle fantasizing or wishful thinking. It is about entering a state where your imagination becomes the dominant truth. The world outside may tell you that your dream is impossible. But if you persist in seeing it within, the outer world has no choice but to conform. The great secret is that imagination is not something you use occasionally, it is something you live in. Those who manifest effortlessly are not those who hope for a better future, but those who already dwell in it within their minds. To bring forth your desires, engage your imagination fully. If you seek financial abundance, see yourself handling large sums of money. Feel the weight of it in your hands. Hear the sounds of transactions taking place, and experience the confidence that comes with wealth. If you desire love, imagine conversations with your ideal partner. Feel the warmth of their presence, and allow the emotions of love and connection to fill you. If you seek success, picture yourself achieving your goals, receiving recognition, and moving through life with certainty. The clearer and more immersive your imagination, the faster it solidifies into reality. The key is to engage not only your mind, but also your emotions. The subconscious mind is moved by feeling more than words alone. This is why affirmations spoken without belief often fail, while those that are infused with deep feeling become powerful. When you imagine, do not just see the image, feel the joy, gratitude, and excitement as if it is happening now. Your emotional state is the fuel that brings imagination to life. The stronger the emotion, the deeper the impression on your subconscious, and the faster your reality shifts. Doubt is the enemy of imagination. The moment you question whether your vision will come true, you weaken the creative process. This is why children manifest with such ease. They do not question whether their imaginations are possible. They simply accept them as real. You must return to this childlike certainty. You must discipline your mind to reject thoughts of failure and hold firm to your imagined state. This is not self-deception. It is the law of consciousness at work. The world outside is nothing but a reflection of what you persistently hold within. When you commit fully to your imagined reality, the world must bend to accommodate it. Everything begins and ends in the mind. The limitations you see in your life are the limitations you have accepted in your imagination. The moment you decide to break free, to see yourself as the person who already has what you desire, the moment you live in that vision so completely that it becomes your dominant reality, everything around you will shift. Your imagination is the architect of your destiny. Guard it, direct it, and use it deliberately, for it holds the key to everything you seek. Persistence is the bridge between the unseen and the seen, between your inner world and your outer reality. It is not enough to imagine your desire once or affirm it a few times. You must remain unwavering in your assumption, no matter what appears in the external world. Most people fail to manifest what they want because they give up too soon. They plant the seed of a new reality in their imagination, but when they do not see immediate results, they begin to doubt, waver, and eventually return to their old ways of thinking. They do not realize that the moment they abandon their assumption, they halt the manifestation process. The law is precise. What you persist in assuming must harden into fact. The only reason a new reality has not yet appeared is that the old assumptions are still being given more attention than the new ones. Every great manifestation requires persistence, because the outer world is merely a reflection of your inner state. If you persist in the belief that you are already the person you wish to be, the world must eventually conform. It has no choice, for it is only a mirror, but the process takes time because the physical world operates with a delay. Just as a planted seed does not sprout instantly, your assumptions require time to solidify into physical form. The wise understand this and do not waver when they see no immediate evidence. They know that their assumption is already a reality in the unseen, and that, with persistence, it will inevitably become visible. The test of persistence comes when reality contradicts your desire. You may imagine yourself wealthy, but still see a low bank balance. You may assume you are loved, but still experience loneliness. In these moments, most people falter. They believe what their senses tell them instead of holding firm to their inner vision. They forget that the world is not showing them what is real, but only what has been assumed in the past. The only way to change it is to persist in the new assumption until the external world catches up. If you react to circumstances, instead of persisting in your assumption, you will remain trapped in the same loop. Your persistence must be unwavering. You must train your mind to hold on to your new reality with absolute conviction, regardless of what you see. If doubts arise, you must not entertain them. If old fears creep in, you must dismiss them as remnants of a past state of being. Your assumption is your truth, and nothing outside of you has the power to change it unless you allow it. The world may test you, presenting obstacles and delays, but these are merely illusions meant to challenge your resolve. The moment you refuse to be swayed, the illusion dissolves, and your new reality emerges. The easiest way to persist is to live in the feeling of your wish fulfilled. This means carrying yourself as though your desire is already yours. It means thinking, speaking, and acting in alignment with the reality you have chosen. When you assume a state long enough, it becomes natural. What once felt like imagination will begin to feel like fact, and once it does, the world will shift accordingly. You will no longer need to force or chase anything, for what you have persistently assumed will now seek you out. Most people do not fail because manifestation is difficult. They fail because they do not persist. They allow doubt to creep in, they give up too soon, and they revert back to their old self-concept. But the law is simple. Persist in the assumption that you are already what you desire to be, and the world must conform. It is inevitable. The only variable is how long you are willing to hold on to the vision before you see it materialize. Those who succeed are not those who wish for change, but those who persist until change becomes unavoidable. Everything in your life is a product of what you have persistently assumed to be true. The moment you take full control of your assumptions and refuse to let go, you will see just how powerful you truly are. Everything you seek is already within you. The key to manifesting anything lies in your ability to assume it as true, persist in that assumption, and live in the feeling of its fulfillment. Your reality is not shaped by luck, chance, or external forces. It is shaped by your consciousness. The world merely reflects back to you what you consistently believe and feel to be real. If you can discipline your mind to ignore doubt, to see beyond appearances, and to hold firm to your inner vision, there's nothing you cannot bring into existence. The only thing standing between you and your desires is your willingness to persist. When you fully commit to the belief that what you want is already yours, reality will bend to match it. Do not waver. Do not seek external validation. Live in the assumption of your desired state with unwavering faith, and the world will shift in your favor. This is not theory, it is law. You are the creator of your life, and the moment you take full responsibility for your assumptions, you will realize that manifestation is not magic. It's the natural outpicturing of your inner world. Persist, believe,